Hey everybody, welcome back to Throttle Grotto. So this week, I know last week I told you I wasn't quite sure what I was going to be working on. This week I'm working nights, so I've got some time during the day. I'm going to start getting this rabbit ready for paint. I'm still working on the Jetta. I'll probably work on that a couple days this week in the afternoons, but the bulk of the episode this week and next week will be focused on getting the rabbit ready for paint. We need to get this plug welded in. I need to get that plug cleaned up with the heat gun and a putty knife or a screwdriver and get that all cleaned up so I can weld that. I've got to fix this hole up here, and then just general cleanup with like a wire wheel on some of the seams up here. Just make sure there's no issues up in this corner. You can see it looks like there may be a little bit of surface rust here. I just want to go over all this and make sure that I don't have any major issues that I need to deal with before I start laying some paint on. So, and if I have time this week, I will take the driver's seat out because we're done with the shift box relocation, and I will get the floor plugs done on the driver's side. And then there's these little things here too that I need to clean up around and weld in. Just the extra, there's these little rectangular plugs, but I'm just going to tack these in place, and then I'm going to go over them with some seam sealer just to make sure that they don't move around. So that is going to be the bulk of our episode for today, and actually for this week. So let's get started. Alright, so I don't know what's going on today. Mechanically, I am a walking dumpster fire today. just not jiving with welding and mechanics today. I don't know why. Probably because I have to go back to work tonight. So I'm going to finish out today. I've got about an hour or so left. I'm just going to take apart or work on taking apart the inside of the car. So all this seats and windows and trim and all that stuff that needs to come out, I'm just going to work on that for now because it's got to be done, and it's low impact to the to the project. I feel bad because I'm putting this stuff online and it just doesn't look how I want it to, So it's frustrating. It's frustrating doing a YouTube channel and knowing that you're trying to put out the best product you can, and sometimes your product sucks. So the best way to deal with that today is just not work on that kind of stuff and work on other things, and we'll keep the project rolling forward, trying to get stuff done. So that's going to be it for the rest of the day. I'm not sure where I'm going to cut this episode off yet. I might work on this some tomorrow too. So but that's it. I'm just going to take this thing apart, get all the crap out, so that when I get ready to paint, that's one less thing I have to do. See what I mean? Completely mechanically a shit show today. I've got the tail lights undone, and this one, it won't even loosen, it won't even release from the body. There's only 4 nuts that hold it on, and it's like somebody glued it to the car or something. It just does not want to release. It's very possible that they may have actually glued it to the car, judging from the looks of how this thing's coming out. Never had one of these taillights come off like this. And why have I never had one come off like that? Because someone did glue it to the car. Good grief. Really trying not to break that one, because I believe this one has a 74 date stamp on it. So I don't want to break it. Which means that the passenger side one, or the driver's side one, will be the same. I think, given how today is gone, I think that's where I'm going to stop for today. So I will pick it up again tomorrow afternoon, and hopefully things go better in the shop. See you then. Hey everybody, welcome back. So I figured I would start a little discussion here about halfway through, or 3/4 of the way through this episode, and just kind of give you guys a little bit of food for thought. I guess you'd call it food for thought. I worked a 12-hour night shift last night, and I'm pretty tired. I got home and slept for about 3 or 4 hours, and now I'm out in the shop. I've got my delicious Starbucks refreshers here, which these things keep me going, man. They're like, I'm not gonna like plug them because I pay for them, but they're delicious, so I'm gonna plug them anyway. If you haven't tried these things, they're coffee extract. It's kind of like an energy drink, but it's not super fizzy. It's like more like a juice, and I don't drink coffee, so this is about as close as it gets. So sorry to my wife, who really wants me to start drinking coffee, but this is about as close as I'm going to get. So anyway, back to where my thoughts rambled to last night when I was at work. I had a 12-hour night shift. I had work to do, but I also had time to catch up on some YouTube stuff. Yesterday was a train wreck for me as far as like anything mechanical. I just left the garage and drove to work feeling kind of down and frustrated about the channel and my content and the cars and everything else that I'm putting up. But then I watched some other YouTube videos last night. I'm not going to name names because like some of the people that I watched last night have a really big following. Some of them don't. But it was kind of eye-opening to me to see the level of repairs that some people were doing to their vehicles. Stuff that I just couldn't even comprehend doing to a car as far as like a fix. You know, I'll be as general as I can without like leading into saying who it is. But like when there's a problem with a mechanical piece, I would repair the mechanical piece as opposed to limiting the travel of the mechanical piece through a repair that does not or that limits the travel of the mechanical piece, let's say. that's about as much as I can. Like, I'm not trying to like bash people, because like there are YouTubers who are really successful and touring the country and have big fans, and um, doing however they're doing it, it's working. They've got a formula and it works for them. Um, so that kind of led me back to like, hey, you know what? The stuff I'm doing, even though my welding isn't like perfect, I'm not Chip Foose. I need to remind myself of that. I don't do this for a living. I do this for fun, and I need to keep it fun. And yes, I have a kind of a perfectionist mindset, but I'm also impatient. So it's kind of a weird balance that I have to mitigate between wanting to get stuff done and get it on the road, and then the realization that sometimes things take 2-3 times longer than they normally should. So bottom line is, I'm doing things myself, and yes, my welding sucks about 3/4 of the time. Every once in a while I get it to where it's good, but I don't weld all the time. I don't weld every day. I do a big batch of welding, and I don't weld for another 3-6 months. So I still try to apply the things that I'm learning from you guys through emails and comments and stuff like that, which is great. I didn't have any tutelage or schooling or anybody even really teach me welding. The shop I rented, I had an old guy that said, "There's the welder, and here's how you use it." And I kind of figured it out on my own, and that was really it. And that was a long time ago. But my work is improving, and I just need to be mindful of that. It's like, when I bought the second Datsun body, the FLOORPAN, instead of someone fixing it with sheet metal, had fixed it with they had used sheet metal screws and screwed down a piece of metal and then fiberglassed over the top of it. So it became even worse when it came time to repair it. I found other sheet metal screws holding components together inside on this Datsun, and then just bonded over the tops of the sheet metal screws. So even though I may not be doing it perfect, and I may not be doing it to the level that people do it as a profession or have been doing it their whole lives, have been doing it, I'm still trying to do it right. So I guess from here on out, I apologize to anyone that does it for a living and or has had professional training and really takes issue with how I'm doing things. I'm sorry. If you have suggestions on how I can do it better, I'm all open to that. But please don't get offended or angry about how I'm doing stuff, because I'm really trying to do the car right. I'm not trying to pack it with fiberglass. I'm trying to learn hammer and dolly. I'm trying to make things work. And the Datsun, here's a perfect example. Here's some work that I did a couple of years ago now. It's not great, but but it's all metal and it's not packed full of Bondo. So I still have work that I need to do on this back corner, but that whole back corner was gone. There was nothing there, and I basically had to recreate it out of metal. It's the first time I'd ever done anything like that. I look at it now and I see what people do professionally, and it's a little embarrassing, but at the same point, I have done that myself the first time. It actually looks like a fender. It has the right shape, and with a little bit more cleanup and work, it will be a good looking fender. I'll have to put a skim coat. I'll have to put a skim coat of mud over that, but it'll only be a skim coat. I know that there's people that do do cars, and they just build it out of Bondo. They just pack there's a hole there, just pack it full of mud, throw newspaper in it, throw a 2x4 in there, and people charge big money for restorations like that. I'm not charging money for my stuff. This is just all me doing it in my garage and trying to take pride in my work. So bottom line, from here on out, I'm doing the best I can, and between work and home and life and riding my bike and getting out in my kayak and taking time out for family and friends and all those things that life get in the way of, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and try to get the best product out there and try to keep this entertaining and educational for you guys. I know that some of you guys, when I talk about stuff, some of you I'm sure have it's like, yeah, we already know this, but I'm trying to keep it at least as much as I can to a point of, if you've never seen it done before, I can maybe teach somebody who's never done it or doesn't know anything about it. Maybe I can teach them something and at least give them the basics. So that is almost 10 minutes of me blathering, but I felt like I just needed to not only actualize it in my head, but actually just kind of say it out loud and kind of let you guys know where my headspace is at, and kind of like my philosophy for the rest of these builds. So with that, I'm going to have a little more caffeine, and then I'm going to use what time I have today to get to work. Hey everybody, I decided to end this episode here. I really couldn't think of a better way to wrap it up. So next week, I'm going to show you guys where we're at on the Rabbit over here. I am dangerously close to getting primer and paint on the inside of this car, which is super cool. So that will be next week's episode. So this week's episode is what you see here, and then hopefully I will be able to compress all the video from the prep work. Some of it I haven't videoed, some of it I have. Hopefully I'll be able to compress all the video that I have for prep work into a very short episode, and within a very short time, hopefully within the next week or two, you guys should see primer on the inside of this car. So that's what's coming. Real exciting. Until next time, get out there and work on something.